Here you are now as a project manager without your PMP. How will you differ a project manager with your PMP? Hopefully, preparing for the PMP will help you find a job, find a better job, or get better at the job you have right now. Welcome to this introduction to project management. The construction of Golden Gate Bridge, the Taj Mahal, the Great Wall of China, the Sydney Opera House, and many more are the outcomes of the projects where leaders applied project management practices, principles, processes, tools, and techniques to their work. You can probably think of some examples of projects you have taken on in your life, big and small. Did you do a good job? Was the project completed on time, on budget? Was the project a success? Imagine how the outcome could have been impacted if you are armed with the ever-evolving body of knowledge that has been sculpted over time by hundreds of project management industry professionals. Project management is not a new concept. It has been around for centuries. You can harness this knowledge and apply it to your own work to improve efficiency and effectiveness. Project management is a unique field in that people generally don't choose it as an initial career path. They enter via a back door through a technical field, or they want to learn project management theory with the goal of advancing into the role. For this reason, many people who practice project management are not well equipped with the project management theory. There is, however, such a thing as a project management career. In large construction, oil field, or industrial projects, project management will consist of a team whose only job description is to manage a project. When the project completes, they seek out the next large project to manage. This is not the norm, however, as most projects in the world are small and must be administered by people from the related technical field. In this video, we will tackle a brief overview of project management theory. Our main reference is the PMBOK Guide by PMI. Here's the agenda for the entire video. The PMBOK Guide, what is a project, the qualities of a project, why projects exist, the project initiation context, project management, program management, operation and project, organizational project management or the OPM, relationship of project, program, portfolio, and operations management, comparative overview of project, program, and portfolio, parts of a project, the project life cycle, project phase, project management processes, process groups, and knowledge areas, the business and project artifacts, data and information, business documents, the business case and the benefits management plan, agreements, project charter, project management plan, project documents, success measures, and project objectives. The PMBOK Guide. Most people call this book the PMBOK Guide. The title is a guide to the project management body of knowledge. A couple of important phrases or words here. One is the word guide, meaning not the entire body of knowledge of project management is in this book. It's only a guide. We talk about the purpose of the guide. To describe generally recognized good practices in project management. To provide a lexicon for project management. The lexicon means common vocabulary. It's not the purpose of the guide to be the sole resource in preparing for the exam. My suggested takeaway here. Read the PMBOK Guide small section by small section. Focus on the tables and the figures. Do not absolutely try to memorize the PMBOK guide. Let's take the difference between the body of knowledge versus the PMBOK guide. A body of knowledge is a knowledge within or throughout the profession. The PMBOK guide is the subset of this body of knowledge. When we think of the body of knowledge, its material can either be published or unpublished and traditional or emerging practices. The PMBOK guide is a subset. It's a guide to the body of knowledge. It looks at knowledge that is generally recognized and as a good practice. The information in the PMBOK guide should be tailored to your specific project. It's not a methodology. We should not follow it blindly. We need to tailor what's in the PMBOK guide so as to make our project successful. The PMBOK guide again contains a lexicon, meaning common vocabulary for project management. We've seen these two phrases, generally recognized and good practice. Generally recognized means applicable to most projects most of the time, and there is no consensus about value and usefulness. Good practice means that there is general agreement that the application of the knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project management processes can enhance the chance of success over many projects in delivering the expected business values and results. Now let's talk about the PMBOK guide versus the standard for project management. The PMBOK guide is the entire book. It includes everything in the standard plus tools and techniques, ideas for tailoring, and emerging trends. The standard for project management is part 2 of the PMBOK guide. It focuses on the processes, the inputs, and the outputs. The PMBOK guide. The PMBOK guide provides ideas for managing a single project, not a group of interrelated projects called program. The focus is on a single project, typically a large one. A project could be something as simple as planning and hosting a party to the complex design and construction of a Sydney Opera House. As you go through, think of a project that you are currently involved in and try to relate it to your own work and the work of others involved in the project. Defining projects. How much do you know about the creation of projects? What is a project? How do you know if you're working on one? A project is temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. It has a definite beginning and end and are undertaken to fulfill objectives by producing deliverables. What is a deliverable? A deliverable is defined as a unique and verifiable product, result, or capability to perform a service that is required to be produced to complete a process, phase, or project. The goal of a project will vary based on what the project's deliverable is, but typically the result is to create something that will be around longer than the process it took to create it. For example, you are managing a project to build a skyscraper. You expect the skyscraper to be around longer than the time it took to build it. Let's say your project is to study for and pass the PMP exam. Ask first yourself, is that unique? Well, there's lots of PMPs out there, but certainly there will be something unique about you as a PMP. Will this be temporary or will this be ongoing? Well, let's hope it is temporary. Temporary means it has a start and it has a finish. Qualities of a project. There are 4 qualities that characterize projects of all types. A project creates a unique product, service, or result. You need to understand if the work has an end in mind. The exact end date may or may not be known, but there is a clear intention to end the work at a particular point of time. Examples including business function that supports another area of the organization, the research project, or the merging of two organizations. It is a temporary endeavor. Projects are temporary, but their deliverables may exist beyond end of the project. The end of the project has been reached when either objectives had been met or funding resources or the need for the project is no longer present. Project drives change. The project moves the organization from the current state to the future state. Going back to your project to pass the PMP exam. So here you are now as a project manager without your PMP. How will you differ a project manager with your PMP? Hopefully, preparing for the PMP will help you find a job, find a better job, or get better at the job you have right now. Project enables business value creation. The benefit that the result from the specific project provide to its stakeholders can be tangible or intangible. Examples include monetary assets, tools, equity, goodwill, public benefit, and reputation. So ask yourself, what is the value created once you have your PMP? Is there some monetary value? Would you get a raise at work? Is there brand recognition? Why projects exist? Projects are created to provide business value and to deliver benefits in organizations defined in a business case and the benefits management plan. Projects are designed to bring a positive change to the organization, usually to add or improve products or services, and in some cases, to satisfy legal or regulatory requirements. Business leaders manage them with limited budgets, timelines, resources, and with changing technology. To remain competitive in the global economy, companies embrace project management to deliver business value. To respond to factors that may impact the organizations, that organization's leader can initiate projects. There are four general categories for these factors that cause the project to start. The four factors that cause a project to start are: meet regulatory, legal, or social requirement, satisfy stakeholder requests or needs, implement or change business or technological strategies, create, improve, or fix products, processes, or services. Meet regulatory, legal, or social requirement. We have material issues, which when a project has cracks, it needs to be fixed. And for the legal requirement, when a chemical manufacturer authorizes a project to establish guidelines for the proper handling of a new toxic material. So to satisfy stakeholder requests or needs, we have market demand. When an auto company wants to build more fuel-efficient cars in response to gas shortages. We have also customer request. When an electric utility authorizes a project to build a substation to serve a new industrial park. Stakeholder demands. When a stakeholder requires that a new output be produced by the organization. Social need. When an NGO or the non-government organization authorizes a project in developing country. Implement or change business or technological strategies. We have new technology, the creation of a faster, cheaper smartphone. Competitive forces, lower production cost of farm machinery to compete in market. Political changes. A new elected official wants to support his objectives with increased number of prisons. Market demand. An auto company wants to build more fuel-efficient cars in response to gas shortages. Economic changes. Economic downturn results in a change in the priorities for a current project, strategic opportunity, or business need. A training company authorizes a project to create a new course to increase its revenues. Environmental considerations. A public company authorizes a project to create a new service for electric car sharing to reduce pollution. Create, improve, or fix products, processes, or services. New technology, the creation of faster, cheaper smartphone. Material issues, when a bridge has cracks, it needs to be fixed. Market demand, when an auto company wants to build more fuel-efficient cars in response to gas shortages. Customer request, when an electric utility authorizes a project to build a substation to serve a new industrial park. Business process improvements, an organization implements a project resulting from a Lean Six Sigma value stream mapping exercise. Strategic opportunity or business need. A training company authorizes a project to create a new course to increase its revenues. Environmental considerations. A public company authorizes a project to create a new service for electric car sharing to reduce pollution. Project management. Project management is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project activities to meet project requirements. Project management is both a science and an art. The science is the systematic process of managing work efficiently and effectively to deliver planned results. This includes tailoring efforts to meet the needs of the project and using the appropriate processes and tools to accomplish the work. The art of project management relates to how a project manager uses skills such as influencing, organizing, and strategizing in addition to other interpersonal and team skills. Effective use of project management ensures that the organization is focused on the most important work, and because of appropriately tailored planning efforts, the work is done correctly and in the most time and cost-effective manner. Risks are identified and planned for before they occur. Communication is managed effectively, and quality is achieved. These efforts result in satisfied stakeholders and achievement of business objectives. The effective project management helps organizations meet business objectives, deliver products, resolve problems, and generate other sought benefits. Project management is what we do to ensure projects are successful. Program management. A program is a group of related projects, subsidiary programs, and or program activities that accomplish a set of goals. Program management focuses on interdependencies between projects and the program level to determine the optimal approach for managing them. A program is made up of subsidiary programs and projects. Since a program is made up of subsidiary programs and projects, certain benefits can be obtained by managing them together rather than managing them individually. Programs should not be misinterpreted as large projects. An example of a program is a new communication satellite system with various projects for the satellite itself, the ground stations, the launch of the satellite, and the integration of system. We can also give the manufacturing of new Airbus plane as an example of a program. And under these, several projects such as avionics systems, communication systems, entertainment systems, and security systems. All these projects are interrelated because the airplane will be completed. All these systems are merged and work properly. Portfolio management. A portfolio is a group of projects, programs, subsidiary portfolios, and operations managed as a group to achieve strategic objectives. Portfolio management facilitates the effective governance and management of the work that helps achieve organizational strategies and priorities. Portfolio management aligns portfolios with organizational strategies by selecting the right programs or projects, prioritizing the work, and providing the needed resources. Focuses on doing the right programs and projects to align with the business strategy. For example, in an infrastructure organization that has a strategic objectives of maximizing the return of its investments may assemble a portfolio that includes a mix of projects in oil and gas, how, where, roads, rail, and airports. From this, the organization may manage related projects as one portfolio. As another example, now let's consider the Airbus will develop 3 new airplane versions in 6 years. The development of each version of these airplanes from each other programs can be grouped under a portfolio. The strategic goal of this portfolio is to be the world's most passenger-carrying airplane company. This strategy might be for bidding Boeing in the market, for instance. Operations management. Operations transforms resource or data inputs into desired goods, services, or results and delivers value to the customers. They are different from projects since they are ongoing and are managed by organizational managers, not project managers. Operations management is an ongoing production and continued efficiency to meet customer demands. It does not pertain to formal project management and will not be covered in this video. However, certain concepts and methodologies that pertain to project management may be useful for operational managers. Operations and projects. Most work done in organizations can be described as either operational or project work. Operational work is the most of the work being done in organizations and is an ongoing and repetitive work being done to support the business and systems of the organization, whereas project works ends when the project is closed. People get confused between projects and operations because they share some characteristics such as both are performed by people, both are planned, executed, and controlled, both have resource limitations. These common characteristics make people confused. However, the differences between projects and operations can be clear. An organization that deals with project is known as the projectized organization, and an organization that deals with operational work is known as functional organization, and matrix organization deals with projects as well as operations. Let us look at some examples of projects and operations. Sending your kid to school every single day. Operations. Getting your kid admitted to a new school. Project. Each of the rocket launches for putting satellites in orbit by NASA. Project. Daily publication of a news edition. Operations. Special news publication edition dedicated to the upcoming Olympics event. Project. Running standard workshops on PMP by the training organization MMPMP. Operations. Organizing a customized session for a corporate entity on project management to target their specific needs and improvement areas. Project. Soap manufacturing. Operations. Creation of the first prototype soap. Project. Software maintenance. Operations. Software enhancement. Project. Renovation of an existing building. Project. Routine financial audits. Operations. Implementation of a new financial and taxation system. Project. Extension of an existing building by adding 2 new rooms. Project. Installing a product on the client or customer side. Project. Running of a help desk setup. Operations. Installation of a new help desk setup. Project. Operations and projects. Although project and operation are two distinct areas of work, they are closely connected. When a project is finished, the deliverables are transitioned to ongoing business operations, so the benefits of a project work can be incorporated into the organization. A successful transition may require employee training or adjustment to operational processes. For example, when an insurance company internal project to develop a new caseload tracking system is completed, employees will need to learn how to use the system and adjust their processes to incorporate it into their daily work so the benefits can be realized. And this relationship goes both ways. While a project may develop a product or service to be used in operational work, the need to change or improve operational work may prompt the initiation of a project. For example, the need to develop a new caseload tracking system may have arisen from problems occurring in the organization business operations. As another example, imagine the caseload tracking system has moved into operations and users have started working with it, but some bugs have been identified. Fixing these bugs would likely be addressed as a operational work or maintaining business systems rather than as a new project. If the organization decides new features or functions must be added to the caseload trading system after it is in operation, However, this may prompt a new project. Organizational Project Management. Organizational Project Management, or OPM, is the framework used to align project, program, and portfolio management practices with organizational strategy and objectives, and customizing or fitting these practices with the organization's context, situation, or structure. Portfolios, programs, and projects are aligned with or driven by organizational strategies and differ in a way each contributes to the achievement of strategic goals. Portfolio management aligns portfolios with organizational strategies by selecting the right programs or projects, prioritizing the work, and providing the needed resources. Program management harmonizes its program components and controls interdependencies in order to realize specified benefits. Project management enables the achievement of organizational goals and objectives. The purpose of OPM is to ensure that the organization undertakes the right projects and allocates critical resources appropriately. OPM also helps to ensure that all levels in the organization understand the strategic vision and initiatives that support the vision, the objectives, and the deliverables. In an organizational environment, the strategy, portfolio, programs, projects, and operations interact with each other. PMI has a separate standard and focus in OPM, which is the Standard for Organizational Project Management, or OPM. It provides guidance to organizational management, PMO staff, and practitioners on these topics. It spans the value delivery landscape and can be used with all approaches to project delivery, including waterfall, agile, hybrid, and next practices, as well as future approaches. Relationship of project, program, portfolio, and operations management. To achieve their goals and objectives, organizations put solid foundation through project management process, tools, and techniques. A project can be managed in different ways. This can be a standalone project, within a program, or within a portfolio. Projects, programs, and portfolios are different from one another in their definition, scope, change, planning, management, monitoring, and measurement of success. Both program management and portfolio management differ from project management in their life cycles, objectives, focus, and benefits. Comparative overview of project, program, and portfolio. Let's take a look at how project, program, and portfolio differ from each other in terms of scope, planning, management, and monitoring. In terms of scope, more definitive and narrower tasks. Scope is progressive through the project life cycle. This means new change requests might come from the customer, and this might affect the scope. But programs have a scope that encompasses the scopes of each program components because several projects come together for a program. Therefore, program scope will be bigger respectively. In portfolio, scope will be different. Instead of what needs to be done, strategic goals or business vision of a company defines the scope of a portfolio. In the change point of view, projects deal with the changes that might immensely affect it. These changes often happen internally. Programs are managed in a manner that accepts and adapts to change as necessary to optimize the delivery of the benefits as the program's components deliver outcomes and/or outputs. Program manager deal with both internal and external changes. For instance, a change of risk that is happening in one of the projects under the program might affect each other since they are interrelated. Therefore, the program manager must look broader. Portfolio managers continuously monitor changes in the broader internal and external environments because portfolio serves for strategic goal of a company and a market or economical change might affect the portfolio as well. In terms of planning, project managers progressively elaborate high-level information into detailed plans throughout the project lifecycle. So the planning of a project includes detailed task planning, which includes tasks that can be completed in a few days or even in hours. And in a program, programs are managed using high-level plans that track the interdependencies and progress of program components. Program plans are also used to guide planning at the component level, so the programs do not dive into details of planning. They keep track of whether components within a project had been completed or not. In portfolios, portfolio managers create and maintain necessary processes and communication relative to the aggregate portfolio. Instead of tasks and component monitoring, portfolio deals with whether this strategic goal or business plan will be achieved. How does project, program, and portfolio differ in terms of management? Project managers manage the project team and ensure that the project objectives are met, and program managers ensure that program benefits are delivered as expected by coordinating the activities of a program's components. And portfolio managers may manage or coordinate portfolio management staff or program and project staff that may have reporting responsibilities into the aggregate portfolio. In monitoring, project managers are the ultimate observers of projects held in project. In programs, program managers are responsible for the progress of programs, and they need to take proper preventive and corrective actions if there are risks that might affect the program. For portfolios, portfolio manager must monitor whether the portfolio keeps going towards the strategic goal that has been determined. If there are any internal or external risks that might impact the portfolio manager must act respectively. Success. How is success measured in project, program, and portfolio? Success is measured by product and quality, timeliness, and budget in projects. If the agreed scope is met in agreed quality and agreed time and budgets, projects are considered successful. But in programs, all the projects under the program must meet their objectives, timeline, and budget respectively. For portfolio, success is a bit different. If projects and programs help to achieve the business goal of a portfolio, then portfolio is considered as successful as well. Parts of a project. Projects comprise several key components that, when effectively managed, result in their successful completion. These components are interrelated to one another during the project. Project life cycle. Project life cycle is a series of phases that a project passes through from start to completion. Project life cycles can be predictive with phases that may be sequential, iterative, or overlapping. Project life cycles are independent of product life cycles. A product life cycle is a series of phases that represent the evolution of products. Phases in a product life cycle can include one or more project life cycles. Project phase. Project phase is a collection of logically related project activities that together produces one or more deliverables. Phases and life cycle can be described by a variety of attributes that may be measurable and unique to a specific phase. Here are few examples of how projects may be separated into distinct phases or other such subcomponents with names and indicated type of work done in the phase. Project phase examples. Number 1, concept development, feasibility study, customer requirements, project solution development, design, prototype, then build, then test, after the test, then transition, and then commission. Next is phase gate. A phase gate is a review at the end of the phase in which a decision is made to continue to the next phase, to modify within the current phase, or to end the phase or project. The project's performance and progress are compared to the project and business documents. Depending on the organization, industry, or type of work, phase gates could be referred to as one of the following: phase reviews, stage gates, kill points, and phase exits. Project management processes. The project life cycle is managed by executing a series of project management activities which are known as project management processes. The project management processes are systematic series of activities where inputs are acted upon using appropriate project management tools and techniques in an effort to create outputs. An output can be deliverable or another type of outcome. Processes are linked by the outputs they produce and may contain overlapping activities that occur throughout the project. The output of one process generally results in an input to another process or a deliverable of a project or phase. Here, the business case, which should be available even before the start of the project, will be the one of the inputs in developing the project charter. The project charter will then be the input in developing the project management plan on the planning phase of the project, and so forth and so on. Each project management process, as detailed in the PMBOK guide, is further explained in the associated topics of the future videos. So please hit subscribe to be notified on my future uploads. Process groups. Process group is a logical grouping of project management processes to achieve specific project objectives. Process groups should not be mistaken for project phases and are independent of process phases as well as the application area or industry focus. While there are different ways of grouping processes, the PMBOK guide groups processes into 5 categories: the initiating, planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, and closing. Initiating process group. Those processes performed to define a new project or a new phase of an existing project by obtaining authorization to start the project. Planning process group. Those processes required to establish the scope of the project, refine the objectives, and define course of action required to attain the objectives that the project was undertaken to achieve. Executing process group. Those processes were formed to complete the work defined in the project management plan to satisfy the project requirements. Monitoring and controlling process group. Those processes required to track, review, and regulate the progress and performance of the project. Identify any areas in which changes to the plan are required and initiate the corresponding changes. Closing process group. Those processes performed to formally complete or close the project phase or contract. The part that is frequently underestimated is the second phase, project planning. The Project Management Institute has suggested that planning effort be roughly 20 to 30% of the total work. This may seem like a lot, but believe me, it reduces problems further on. In fact, the planning group is by far the largest within the PMBOK. It contains almost half of the processes, even though it is one out of 5 process groups. The project management plan that is generated during the planning phase encompasses all of the knowledge areas, and it should be scaled to the size of the project. Knowledge areas. Knowledge areas are unidentified areas of project management defined by its knowledge requirements and described in terms of component processes, practices, inputs, outputs, tools, and techniques. Project management processes are characterized by knowledge areas which are interrelated and interdependent. The 10 identified knowledge areas in the PMBOK guide are used in most projects most of the time. The integration knowledge area includes the processes and activities to identify, define, combine, unify, and coordinate the various processes and project management activities within the project management process groups. The stuff that doesn't fit in any other category, like developing the project management plan itself, making changes to the project, etc. Scope management knowledge area includes the processes required to ensure the project includes all the work required and only the work required to complete the project successfully. Scope is the work that is included in the project. It should be defined in the planning phase. That is the project management plan, and changes should be well defined. Schedule management knowledge area. It includes the processes required to manage the timely completion of the project. Creating, monitoring, and enforcing the project schedule, milestone, and completion dates. Project cost management knowledge area. It includes the processes involved in planning, estimating, budgeting, financing, funding, managing, and controlling costs so the project can be completed within the approved budget. Estimating the project cost and monitoring and controlling them throughout the project. Project quality management knowledge area. It includes the processes for incorporating the organization's quality policy regarding planning, managing, and controlling project and product quality requirements in order to meeting stakeholders' expectations. Determining the quality standards that apply to the project and monitoring the quality of work produced. Project management resource knowledge area. It includes the processes to identify, acquire, and manage the resources needed for the successful completion of the project. Ascertaining the people requirements of the project, acquiring them, and developing them to ensure they produce the required results. Communication. It includes the processes required to ensure timely and appropriate planning, collection, creation, distribution, storage, retrieval, management control, monitoring, and ultimate disposition of project information. Establishing the communication needs of each stakeholder and making sure they are involved to the required degree. Project Risk Management Knowledge Area. It includes the processes of conducting risk management planning, identification, analysis, response planning, response implementation, and monitoring risk on a project. Figuring out who the biggest alligators under the bed are and how to make sure you never see them. Project Management Procurement Knowledge Area includes the processes necessary to purchase or acquire products, services, or results needed from outside the project team. Hiring the outside consultants and contractors necessary to get the job done and managing them. And the last knowledge area is the Project Management Stakeholder Knowledge Area. It includes the processes required to identify the people, groups, or organizations that could impact or be impacted by the project, to analyze stakeholder expectations and their impact on the project, and to develop appropriate management strategies for effectively engaging stakeholders in project decisions and execution. Identifying each stakeholder and making sure they're happy. Each knowledge area is further detailed in the associated overview modules in the future videos. So please hit subscribe to be notified on my future uploads. Business and project artifacts. Business and project artifacts act as inputs and outputs across all processes. With some initial exposure in this topic, you'll have a general understanding on what you'll be working with and seeing how these artifacts are all interconnected throughout the life of the project. Each artifact will be discussed in detail within the associated process or as one module. Here, I am providing general context and showing the relationship to the project as a whole. As the project manager, you are responsible for providing recommendations and oversight to keep the project business case, project benefits management plan, project charter, and project management plan in alignment with one another and with objectives of the organization. You will also be responsible for maintaining the project documents as the project progresses and changes. Data and info. Work performance data are the raw observations and measurements identified during activities performed to carry out the project work. Throughout the life cycle of a project, significant amount of data is collected as a result of documenting or recording various processes and are shared among project team members. The collected data are analyzed in context, aggregated, and transformed to become work performance information that can be communicated verbally or distributed as reports. Business documents. As the project manager, you need to ensure that the project management approach captures the intent of business document. The two primary business documents are the business case and the benefits management plan. The business case is the documented economic feasibility study used to establish the validity of the benefits of a selected component lacking sufficient definition, and that is used as a basis for authorization of further project management activities. It will ultimately be the driving document that is created in a needs assessment which analyzes business goals, objectives, issues, and opportunities. When discussions begin around the possibility of a project, the business case will list the objectives and reason for the project, The project sponsor is generally accountable for the development and maintenance of the project business case. It is also used throughout the project lifecycle and provides the basis to measure success and progress throughout the project by comparing the actual project results with the document. It will also be used to measure project success at the end of the project. Benefits Management Plan. The Benefits Management Plan describes how and when the benefits will be delivered. It also describes mechanism that should measure those benefits. Development of the plan begins early in the project by identifying the intended benefits of the project as well as any information documented in the business case. The plan is continuously aligned with the project charter and the project management plan through the collaboration of project manager and project sponsor. Agreements. An agreement is a mutually binding document that obligates a seller to provide specific products, services, or results of a contract, memorandum of understanding, letters of agreement, verbal agreements, email, or other tangible forms. An agreement will also obligate the buyer, in this case, the sponsoring organization of the project, to compensate the seller. An agreement represents a legal relationship that is subject to remedy in the courts. Project Charter. The project charter is the document issued by the project sponsor that formally authorizes the existence of the project and provides the project manager with the authority to apply organizational resources to project activities. The project charter is developed early in the project and referenced as an input across many processes throughout the life of the project. The Project Management Plan. The Project Management Plan is a comprehensive document that describes how the project will be executed, monitored, and controlled. It is developed early in the project and referenced as an input in nearly all processes throughout the project. The plan is composed of subcomponents that each address a different knowledge area of the project, like the risk management plan, the schedule management plan, or the communications management plan. The plan can also be updated if appropriate. Project documents. A series of project documents will be used throughout the life of the project. Many of these documents will be created as an output from a process then used as an input for other processes. Most of these will be dynamic documents that may be updated as needed throughout the project. And once changes to these documents are no longer needed, they formally become a record and are stored in an organizational repository. Success factors. The common challenge at the end of a project is determining whether the project is successful. Some traditional metrics that may be used to measure project success include time, cost, scope, and quality of the results. In some cases, it is possible for a project to be successful from a scope, schedule, or budget viewpoint, but also be unsuccessful from a business viewpoint. Practitioners have determined that success factors should include more than these traditional factors. Instead, Success should be about achievement toward the project objectives. With that in mind, however, project stakeholders may have different ideas as to what success looks like, as well as the factors that are most important. As a project manager, you should work closely with project stakeholders to clearly document the project objectives and select the objectives that should be measured. Here are the 3 key questions that you and your key stakeholders might answer together. The 3 key questions. What does success look like for this project? How will success be measured? And what factors may impact success? Project success may include additional criteria linked to the organizational strategy and to the delivery of business results. Some additional criteria that could be included in your project objectives are as follows. The project objectives. Completing the project benefits management plan. Meeting the agreed upon financial measures documented in business case like ROI. Meeting non-financial objectives. Completing the movement of an organization from its current state to the desired future state. Fulfilling contract terms and conditions. Meeting organizational strategies, goals, and objectives. Achieving stakeholder satisfaction. Customer acceptance or end-user adoption. Integration of deliverables in the organization operating environment. Achieving an agreed-upon quality or delivery. Meeting governance criteria or achieving other agreed-upon criteria. Projects happen all the time throughout the world. Big projects like building a bridge or developing software can be accomplished by practicing project management. Even simple activities like cooking a meal or building a kite can be considered through the lens of project management. There are certain costs, resources, and times associated with each. Project management aims to make projects more efficient and increase the value of the performing organization. But even more broadly, learning about project management and excelling in the practice can simply be a great life skill. Managing your own time, budget, communications, and personal goals can be greatly improved with project management skills.